ventilation in here. Or whatever it is.
You moved in.
Yeah. Is there a motion to come out of recess?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting of May 4th?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That meeting is adjourned. I now call to order today's meeting, May 19th. First item on the agenda is the approval of the bills. Is there a motion to approve those?
Second.
Any debate on the motion?
Who is Tab? Is that the old Jeter?
That's the old Jeter, yeah. The board had approved this purchase once before. It was like a little over $50,000, so this is the other half of the payment.
All right.
Anything else? All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent. Next item is the approval of the payroll for the period April 20th through May 3rd, full-time, part-time, overtime, and PEO payroll. Is there a motion to approve the payroll?
Second.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent. Next item is the certification of absentee ballots from the May 5th primary and special election. Good morning. You have to talk loud because it's extremely noisy in here.
We're used to a lot of loud noises in here at this point. All right, you should all have your spreadsheet and all the documentation that you need. I'm going to start with lines 1 through 4. The voter returned their ballot without the identification envelope.
Let me get my papers arranged here. That seems even louder than usual. Like it's going to blow or something.
That's a little hotter than usual out there.
All right, is there a motion to reject lines 1 through 4?
So moved.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent.
Line 5, the voter returned their ballot without a stub.
Is there a motion to reject line 5?
To reject. Item 5.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
Lines 6 through 7, the voter failed to sign the identification envelope.
Move to reject. Items 6 and 7.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent.
Lines 8 and 9, the voter signed the identification envelope, but it didn't match the signature that we have in the voter registration database for them. And you have copies of their ID envelope with the signature, their absentee application, and their signature from their voter registration.
Is there a motion?
Not yet.
We're just reviewing the signatures. I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'll move to reject items 8 and 9.
Any debate on the motion?
I just have some reservation here. I mean, it looks like, you know, looking at the first one, the signature never was very good. I mean, how, you can see somebody really is having problems with
Yeah,
physical dexterity or whatever, and it only gets worse, probably from morning till night, as well as from, last November to this April or May, but
Well, they
I
got,
guess
the-
that's just more of a comment, or, I'm sure it's the same observation you guys made.
Yeah.
And to some extent, we're denying this person. I don't think any of us doubt but what it's probably the same person. It's just the signatures don't match. They don't reasonably match, although they do match in that the second signature in this batch is closer to the first signature in the batch than any other signature we'll see this morning. You know,
that's just a prediction.
anyhow, I'm ready to vote. But, I just wonder if there's another way, if something else needs to be done on some of these. You see a person here, and I apologize, I thought I was done, and then I'm going further. A person who obviously wants to vote, and we want them to vote, but because the signature doesn't match, which is more of a mechanical thing, not only more of, it is a mechanical thing. They don't
well,
get, don't get-
Ohio law requires that if you're going to vote by mail, you have to be able to match a signature. If you can't do that, there are other ways to vote, in person, curbside, or at a nursing home where we witness, which is another form of in-person voting. But people who are incapable of matching, and keep in mind, this person got a ballot issued 30 days, some month before. So they were able to get a signature match in order to get a ballot issued. They couldn't get a signature match in order to vote that ballot, to have that ballot counted. But under Ohio law, if you are incapable of doing a signature match, your best alternative is, there are alternatives, your best alternative is a in-person voting.
Good point. I feel a lot better now.
Well, if you're capable of
Voting in
coming
person.
coming in person, yeah. Yeah. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is adopted without dissent.
Line 10, the voter failed to provide any sort of ID on their ID envelope.
Move to reject number 10.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is adopted without dissent.
Lines 11 through 14, the ID that the voter supplied on their ID envelope doesn't match their ID that they use for the registration or that they use to apply for their absentee ballot.
I'm sorry, or what?
It didn't match, the ID doesn't match on their ID envelope what is in their voter registration or on their absentee application that they use to apply for the absentee.
Can we, can we talk to whoever we need to talk to see if we can get this noise addressed? Do we have the non-matching IDs here?
Yes.
This first one's got the same digits. It's not the
That
right
happens
order.
quite a bit.
Yeah. 259.
In that last one for Jaeger, what is the number?
Oh, is that the one, the 4?
Oh, there it is, yeah, 1042. Got it in a previous provisional, okay.
Yeah, because on a registration card, it's 1042. And then on the absentee application, 1042.
Yeah.
So, on Armstrong, it's 4259 on the ID envelope. On the application, it's 4259, but the 2 looks rather like a 7 if you don't look carefully. And then on the registration form, it looks like 4759, although what you can't tell is whether the line that would make it a 2 is just blended with the line that it's written on.
The printed line.
For which one?
This is Armstrong, this is.
But if you look at the difference between the 7 and the 2, this person, the 7 and 2 are remarkably different. 7 has a flat top, the 2 has a curved top. The 7 has no bottom line, and the 2 has, again, a line that goes up. You know, it's arced, and so you would see it. It wouldn't blend just with the printed form line.
Yeah, probably not. And we have no way of knowing what their actual number is.
Well, that's not the standard. Standard is, does it match what we have on file?
No, I know.
What we have on file could be wrong, because there's no verification. At the time this person registered to vote, we have this card from, that's...
Well, they would, actually, if, yeah,
From 2023, it said
right,
four.
but this is being checked against BMV records now.
That's a whole different issue.
No, well, it,
But they put a flag.
Yeah, we could, we have other methods now in law that allow us to verify this registration application, and that triggers some processes. But for purpose of this voter ID card, this would just match to what we have on file. I don't think we have any other instructions that allow us to do any other superhuman activities to.
Well, we're not qualified to do any superhuman activities.
Who isn't?
We're not.
Correct, that was my point. The directive on verification doesn't let us or instruct us to go look elsewhere other than our own record.
That wouldn't be superhuman, though. All right, I think Ray is right, though. The way he writes the two, it's unlikely it would blend in with the little line.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to reject items 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
Lines 15, the voter returned the ID envelope with, it was blank. There was no signature, no ID, no birthday, completely blank.
Would you like the satisfaction of making this motion?
Mr. Chairman, it is with great regret I must move to reject item 15.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent.
Line 16, the voter sent in a application for the absentee ballot. She had her registered address in Summit County where it's required. She also then had a send to address that we needed to send the ballot to. And we did that. The ballot came back. When her ID envelope was filled out, she put on the ID envelope that her registered address is now that mail to address, and it's in Stark County. So it's, actually she's signed that and states that that's her registered address
Right.
as of now.
That happens. You have to be careful. It's an understandable error, but we don't have any instructions on, other than notifying her that she put the wrong address.
We can't even notify.
You can't even
her.
notify, right?
That's
It's
not a correctable
curable.
flaw.
Well, I'll move to reject then item 16.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent.
This is an interesting one.
The heading is interesting.
There is a nursing facility that we do not go to. We mail the ballots to. And that's on request of the facility. They applied, we sent the ballots, we received a ballot back in the mail, and I believe you have it in there, and there's an actual sticky note on it from someone at the facility saying that the ballots were switched. The one resident voted the other resident's ballot. They caught it. It has this Williams, all of his correct information on it. His ID, the signature matches what we have in the system. It happened to be Aaron Stottlemeyer's ballot. Okay. He would be voting the correct ballot face for his ward and precinct. We figured that wasn't an issue, except when we took the ballot out, William, who voted this ballot, asked for a Democrat ballot. Aaron had asked for a Republican ballot. So actually, William voted a Republican ballot that he didn't request.
So,
Not even, we couldn't even remake it. They're
so that's item 17.
17.
What's the other ballot?
We never received that ballot back.
Okay.
That never came back.
There was theoretically, there could have been two with the same, but the other one just never got returned.
Correct.
what is the nursing home that we send them to?
It's Canal Point, and I believe part of it is a locked facility. I believe
Oh, in
that.
Springfield? Is that the old sanitarium? Oh, no,
No.
in Akron 2H?
No, when I was doing the nursing homes, we went there, but I think over the years it has turned over and is now, I believe this voter was in the locked part of the facility. It actually says that on the sticky note that was returned with the ballot.
So in a nursing home, just refresh me, this, not to do with this issue, but we can send to a mailbox. So like at an independent living where they have their own mailboxes. In nursing homes, we take them and we provide the voter assistance. During COVID, there was a modification, if you will, administrative modification that allowed us to deputize their workers in order to run the, whatever primary they canceled and rescheduled. Does that authority still, is that gone? In other words, what is our, let me just ask the question differently. What is our authority to give a batch of ballots to nursing home staff and let them vote it?
Cheryl can probably speak to that better than I can, being that I've been out of that part since COVID. Thank goodness.
On the combined voter request applications, there is a spot for them to mark if they would like their ballot to be delivered by mail or by 2 Board of Elections staff. When we receive applications that are to be delivered by 2 Board of Elections staff, we work with the activities directors, usually the one collecting and submitting those applications, and we get them scheduled to go into the facility. These were requested to be sent by mail.
So the process still allows us, the process still gives the facility discretion to request it either with our staff or that we send the ballots to them.
I would say it gives the voter discretion, because the
Voter
voter is the one completing the application. They're the only one allowed to complete the application, and it has to be their verified signature in order for us to send a ballot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll move to reject item 17.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent. The next one has a heading I've not seen on this before.
Sounds so exotic.
Jake came up with this name. Voter applied for an absentee ballot. Someone else received that absentee ballot, voted it, and sent it back. The only thing we can surmise is the post office delivered it to the wrong address. And the person who voted it hadn't applied for an absentee. You can see where she strikes out the number on the address on the ID envelope and starts to write her correct address, but then doesn't finish it. So it looks like it was a misdelivered.
So how close? So this was a ballot that went to a green 1D, was this a green 1D ballot?
Yes, it's
And it
actually
went
the
to
same
where?
ward and precinct.
Same ward and precinct. So it was the postal service just in there, probably in the same route, put it to the wrong house.
Well, that's a plausible explanation. We don't really know.
We don't know, but
I would hate to accuse her of going to someone's mailbox
that's a.
and taking it out.
Right.
So that's that's probably more likely because the postal service doesn't make errors. So setting that aside,
I note for the record that Mr. Williams is not, is being facetious.
that was a facetious dripped in sarcasm. But anyway, but it was the same ward and precinct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so I think we're a long way from knowing that the ballot was stolen,
Yeah, it's a little harsh.
but
Right, but still, I'll move to reject item 18.
any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
And lines 19 through 79, we received the ballots late. We received them after 7:30 on Election Day.
And that's how many?
It's
60?
79 through,
It's 19 through 79, so
I'll
it's
move
60.
to reject 19 to 79.
61.
So just out of kicking, that was, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It was moved, I think, and seconded. So
It-
discuss- Just out of curiosity, the current law is you got to have it by 7:30 election night.
Correct.
So there is no more orange marking and no barcoding and all that kind of stuff. These were not received, how many of these were, you may not track this, and that's fine. How many of these were received within
4 days afterward.
4 days after?
Oh, the majority of them. I would,
Yeah, definitely the majority. I don't know the exact number.
That's a number I would track because you're probably, the Secretary of State's probably going to ask us at some point in time, how many we got 0 to 4 or 1 to 4 and then over 4. Probably, but you're saying the majority of these 61.
Yeah, I'd like to know too, when you have a chance.
But of course,
It's
to
on our website.
continue on our prior reasoning,
well, those are timestamped. We can
everybody
even go
has the
through
right
and
to
look at the
person.
timestamps on them to see and give you a count.
So while we learn this, you know, that most all of these would have counted, it's for naught.
Oh, right, it doesn't change anything. I'm interested.
Nor should it.
I mean, it's really a question about how quickly people adjust to that kind of change.
That's fair.
There's, you know, they have to be rejected, there's no question about that.
Well, and we did even make a run up to the Cleveland Post Office on election night, and we got one ballot.
Yes.
What time did we do that?
6 o'clock?
Cheryl can tell you.
We arranged it with the post office and their liaisons in advance, and we sent a team up there to pick up between 6 and 6:30. And they only had one ballot.
Let me ask this question then. Let's say they got up, the polls closed at 7:30 and they got up there at 7:30, before 7:30 and got the ballot. Is that a timely ballot?
That remains an open question, I think.
But I see you went at 6:30, so they had time to get back.
But we ensure, yeah, that they get there at
indicate
6
that.
so that we have that leeway to have it back in the building.
And Cleveland's the only place to go. There's no reason to go to Akron because,
Correct, because we're trying to get it directly from the distribution center prior to
Now-
it coming to Akron.
Could there be ballots, though, that would have made their way to Akron but not yet arrived here?
That could potentially be possible without knowing the full details of their inner workings, but I do know that our local post office will deliver to us after we've picked up the mail on Election Day if they receive ballots. They're pretty
they'll run them over.
Yeah.
well-trained to get rid of the hot potatoes.
Yeah. And a lot of people brought them, not a lot, but some people brought them to the drop box on Election Day
Yes, absolutely.
or to the board, yeah. Yeah.
All right. We did have a motion in a second, right? All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is certification of provisional ballots for the same election, of course. Thank you. Oh,
Good heavens. Already happened.
here, I've got an extra one. Good morning.
Hi. The first document you should have, we gave you all a packet, would be the summary of the various categories of provisionals for this election. So lines 1 through 465 are accept full ballot, met all the requirements.
Is there a motion to certify lines 1 through 465?
Second.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
Lines 466 through 469, for lack of a better term, bad address, but these are ballots that either had no address on their envelope, or it was an address that belonged in a different county, which we had IT verify.
Can you get a little closer to the mic? You don't have to repeat it, but be easier to hear. Is there a motion to reject lines 466 through 469?
Second.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent. Next.
Executive review, perhaps we'll take each one individually. Lines, for line 470 is a 17-year-old who was voted a provisional at the polling location, might need to be remade. This was due to a status, wouldn't exactly call it a glitch, but the voter was placed in a status that flagged them to vote a provisional when they didn't need to. So the 17-year-old voted a provisional. The PEO did the right thing. So it may need to be remade. We had nowhere else to put it.
Okay. So why were they flagged to vote a provisional?
It was in a confirmation status B. However, if it's in B status, but it was blank next to it in our system, then it's not in a mismatch status or any of those other confirmation statuses. That's my understanding. So it took this 17-year-old, an eligible 17-year-old, and put it in this status that then became flagged to vote a provisional when that voter shouldn't have had to. So, but we have the ballot.
So why does this happen?
IT would probably have to explain that more. Probably, my assumption would be that in just trying to figure out how to apply the systems to the new rules coming out on confirmation statuses, the mismatch statuses, I would imagine IT is going to work on it to where that's not going to be the case next election. It's not hurting the voter because they were still eligible to vote a provisional ballot. It's just that.
Well, it didn't hurt in this instance. It could have hurt if the person had made a mistake filling out the provisional ballot envelope that the PEO didn't catch. I'd left a field blank that was required, and the PEO didn't catch it. But fortunately, that didn't happen here.
The confirmation process for a 17-year-old registrant is no different than any other voter.
No.
Yeah, I'd be curious to find out what caused this person to be flagged in that confirmation process. But, I'm ready to dispose of this, but
All right, so this is line 470 we're talking about. Is there a motion to certify line 470?
So moved. Or second?
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent.
Line 471 is a voter that appears to have voted twice at the same location, same day, election day. That's what IT has found.
Same location.
Yes, like 20 minutes apart.
About 25 minutes apart during lunchtime.
This is not the first time
Two
we've had.
different check-ins.
Yeah, not the first time we've had one of those.
Thank you. So they voted, the first one was a regular ballot,
Yes,
and that counted. The
Correct.
person came back 25 minutes later,
or was still in the location.
or right, attempted to get another ballot in the same location 25 minutes later.
Correct.
And they told him, you had to vote provisional. Was there anything else in the book as to what dialogue? I mean,
No, but as you pointed out, this could have been around lunchtime.
It was around, we believe, because it was around lunchtime, and when we checked the EPBs, it was two different people who checked them in. So the first person could have gone to lunch. The other thing is the person was about 85 years old. They might have just been there and forgot that they voted and went back around. We don't know that, but giving them the benefit of the doubt. They did attempt to vote twice.
yeah. Well, I'll make a motion to reject 471, but then the secondary question is, should we set it for a hearing to ask him why he tried to vote twice?
Let's take those one at a time.
Sure. Do you want to see this?
Is there?
No, I'm fine, now that I know he was 85 years old.
I was careful about stating his age.
I'm starting to feel the same way.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Is there a second to the motion to reject line 471? Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent. Did you want to offer another motion?
Well, I think we need to do an investigation, whether or not we need a hearing. There might be an opportunity to do an administrative investigation, report back to the board, and we can decide then whether or not it needs to have a hearing and a referral. I would defer to the wisdom of my colleagues as to the best way to put on the record that we'd like an administrative investigation.
I think the way you just said it, we'd like an administrative
I like that.
investigation. I think what we're trying to find out is, you know, the likelihood that this person somehow just forgot that they had voted, was confused. You know, if it seems unlikely that that's what happened, then we should set it for a hearing. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I think you can interrogate him over the phone
Question.
with questions, asking why he tried to do this, and then go from there and report back to the board and let the board decide whether or not we think that there is need for a hearing, which there probably will be. But
Well, let's see.
I don't want to prejudge the
Let's see
findings
what we
of
find out.
interrogation.
Okay? Next.
Yes, next line, 472 is our first with these new categories of mismatches. I can pass this around. We have a screenshot of what the voter's original registration was. It appears that this voter was in a confirmation status the triple M code, which is in the directive on mismatch, and seems to require certain bits of information, and I'll let you see what the status was prior to the provisional and what the voter went to provide.
So this is a relatively new endeavor where, under the new statute, if we have a different, either BMV or through the Social Security Administration, what we have on record doesn't match what they have on record, that's flagged. The voter can cure that. Can the voter cure that with the proper ID at the polling location and vote a regular ballot, or must they vote a provisional?
They have to vote a provisional.
At the polling location, they have to vote a provisional.
And
There's that 10C period, 14 day, which ends 14 days prior to the election, where they fill out that 10C form, which should remedy it, and then make them eligible to vote a regular ballot, which they were doing in the early weeks of absentee.
So of all the, we had a 22% turnout on election day. And of all the 22%, only one person had a BMV or Social Security data mismatch.
In early voting,
You're talking about just election.
All right, so we had a 19% election day turnout, 3% absentee. So the 19%, basically 20%, out of the 20% of the people who voted on election, of our voters who voted on election day, only one had a data mismatch.
no. There would have been around between 3 or 4. However, the other voters provided all information, all fields. This is one
Who didn't?
that omitted one field. And so I guess that's the question is,
So in items 1 through 465, there could have been data mismatch provisionals that we, okay.
yep,
They
that
were
were cured.
Right.
Yep.
There were some. Yeah. So this person on the provisional ballot envelope didn't provide either of the Social Security number or the driver's license number.
This is a screenshot of their registration. So prior to voting the provisional, they're supposed to be supplementing this information. So as you can see, there's a social, date of birth, address, everything like that. It's just that there was no BMV in the registration. So
Right.
that's what triggered the
They registered, when they registered, they provided the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. They didn't provide a driver's license number, but they're not required to as long as they,
One or the other.
right, it's one or the other. They had to vote provisionally because of a supposed mismatch. I'm going to come back to the supposed part in a minute. Did they come to the board afterward?
Well, the provisional is,
Oh, I'm sorry, they did provide the driver's license number on the provisional ballot.
Yes.
Yes. Not the Social Security number, but the provisional ballot, but the driver's license number. This, I used the term supposed mismatch a moment ago. The reason I used that term is this is a person who does not have a driver's license or official state ID. In other words, is unknown to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. It's not actually a mismatch. The system is treating it as if it were a mismatch, but it's not actually a mismatch. A mismatch would be there's some sort of conflict between the information BMV has and the information we have.
Really what the nomenclature's wrong. Really what it is a non-verification.
Right, but under the statute, I mean, you're not required to have a driver's license or state ID. You could have some other valid passport or military ID. And so there, it's true that the Secretary of State wasn't able to verify the information that we have with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. And that's just because the person doesn't have a driver's license or official state ID.
So a
That
person who
should
doesn't
not
have
be
a-
treated as a mismatch.
A person who has no driver's license or state ID can give the last 4 digits of their social security. If they fall into the category of having no state ID or driver's license, it's not one or the other. At that point, for that voter, it's just the last 4 of your social security. You have only one option.
Right.
So is what the Secretary of State saying is that every voter has to be verified one way or the other? Like if this person, and this is a hypothetical, if this person has no state ID or driver's license and doesn't give us the social security, they have no choice but to give us their social security in order to have the provisional count. Is that right?
Wait a minute. How did they give us a driver's license number?
That was going to be my next question, because there is one on that
Right.
yellow provision.
Right. How did they give us a driver's license number if they didn't have? They had to have been known to the BMV. And it was reported to us as a mismatch of birth date, driver's license number, and social security number.
Or any of them.
MMM means any one of those? I thought it meant
Multiple.
all. Means all, right?
Yeah, if it's triple M, it would be all.
Yeah, well, and this voter was MMM, right?
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I thought that this person is unknown to BMV, because that's when you get that. It's like all the information's wrong. Well, it's not all wrong. It's just that they don't have the information. But then they gave us a driver's license number on the provisional ballot envelope. Where would that number have come from? If they have such a number, it's either invented or they are known to BMV and they have a driver's license and that's their number, or at least close to it.
Right. Can't know. The state ID numbers are different in sequencing than a driver's license number, are they?
Just regular state ID?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, a driver's license is 2 letters and some numbers. Do they follow that same numerical formatting for the state IDs?
Yes.
I thought so, but I wasn't sure.
So this. So when we look at this number, we don't know if it's a driver's license or a state ID number.
Correct.
Right, but either way, it would have been,
A mismatch.
if they have it, it would have been issued by
Them, the BMV.
the BMV.
Well, yeah, I presume, yeah, the BMV issues state ID numbers, yeah.
I mean, it's either just invented or BMV has them on record.
We set it for a hearing.
Well, let's not get that far ahead of ourselves here. The suppose for a second that the issue had just been, it's not, of course, but suppose it had just been driver's license mismatch. And they give us their driver's license number. That is supposed to correct it, right?
Yes.
But that's one that the BMV couldn't have wrong, right? The BMV could have your birth date wrong, they could have your social security number wrong, but they really can't have your driver's license number wrong. Because they're the ones that issue it. If they say it's your driver's license number, it is your driver's license number. In general, setting aside the driver's license, we are to take what the voter gives us as their correct social security number or birth date as correct, and that makes the correction, and then their ballot would be valid. It could still, the next time they check against BMV records, you're going to get another report of a mismatch, and they'll be back in confirmation status and so forth. So it could just keep going like that. But this is a case where the person gave us a driver's license number. That suffices to correct it. Who knows whether it's actually their driver's license number.
Are they, so I have to look at the instructions.
If this were a person unknown to BMV because they didn't have either a driver's license or an official state ID, then they wouldn't belong in confirmation status. They were erroneously put into confirmation status. This is happening all over the state, but that's an error. It's not a mismatch. But apparently this is not one of these people. This person says, oh, I have a driver's license, or state ID, here's the number. And unless they're just wrong about that, this is a person who is known to BMV. They have records in BMV.
He didn't confirm the social security number, the last 4 digits. He didn't confirm the last 4 digits
know.
of his social security number, so perhaps they are wrong,
Who are wrong?
the numbers that we have in our
Oh.
system. Perhaps he transposed them or wrote them wrong, since it had the 3 M's.
Well, we have no idea.
Right,
Or they could be wrong, the BMV could have them wrong.
correct.
So unless this person just hallucinated the driver's license number when they put it on the provisional ballot, this is not what I originally thought, which is somebody who doesn't have a BMV record and is erroneously being reported as mismatch. There are those, that's happening, but it looks like this is not such a person.
Well, let me ask this question. So this person was flagged under the directive for data mismatch, and the data mismatch was specific to the Social Security.
No, it was all three.
It's all 3.
Birth date, social security, and driver's license or state ID number.
So this person's birth date contradicted what the state had in other records?
Supposedly.
This person's, yeah, I have that. MMM, right. Last name, first name, date of birth, and the last 4 digits of the Social Security number could not be verified by the BMV. So this person, in order to cure their ballot, their provisional ballot, since this person did not do anything before, they're able to come in and, so backing up in the pipeline, there was a data mismatch that we were alerted to. This person's in MMM. We notified that person with the form that they talked about, and that person either can do it ahead of election or not. This person did not fix the potential data mismatch or the alleged data mismatch prior to the election. So they were flagged as the directive says, they voted a provisional as the directive says, and they provided on the provisional a driver's license number. So the question, which is not what they had as a form of personal ID in our system. We had, for this voter, a social security number. Is a voter required to fix the potential conflict, or can they change the subject and give a different form of ID? I'm reading through the directive fresh to see if they can do that, but you might already know. So can a person who drops in a driver's license on us that we never had before Is that a curable
I don't,
offer of information?
I don't think we need to reach that question. And the reason I think we don't need to reach that question to resolve this is there was reportedly a mismatch of the three pieces of data. And the fact that they supplied a driver's license number on the provisional ballot envelope tells us that this is not one of those people who's erroneously reported as a mismatch simply because BMV doesn't have a record for them. So I take it that there was a mismatch on those three data items. As strange as it seems, that they'd be a mismatch on all three. There seems to have been. And they didn't correct all three. They corrected only two of the three. And that means that the provisional ballot can't be counted. This would be a different case, in my view, if they weren't really mismatches because the person didn't have a driver's license or a state ID and therefore it was unknown to BMV.
Yeah, I mean, that's an issue not for us to resolve.
Well,
I think what I hear you saying is...
We would have to resolve it, but this isn't a case where we would have to that would require us to resolve it. We might have to resolve it in another case, but...
Here's what I'm hearing with the MMMs. Last name, first name, date of birth, and the last four digits of the social security number. And this is interesting because it changes. Could not be verified with the BMV. Well, could not be verified means they didn't have it.
Right. But I think that's...
Everywhere else in the directive, they say it doesn't match.
Right.
It's titled with data mismatches, and it says when it doesn't match, and doesn't match. But in this little table that they've created, but nonetheless.
There are a number of contradictions and inconsistencies in the directive.
Yeah, and the wording of it that implies certain things, but that's not even my concern. So in this, did this person's first name and last name and date of birth, I put and in between all of those, and the last four digits of their social security all contradict what the BMV had? Wrong first name, wrong second name, wrong date of birth, and wrong driver's license number?
It's
Or
MMM. Oh, why do we have two different?
this is the BMV code, and this is the provisional reason. So they created a second.
Yeah, so I think we're here.
Okay.
It's just, it's birth date, driver's license number, and social security number.
Right, and the reason they require this remedy is because of this problem. The BMV message, which is last name, first name, date of birth, last four digits, social security number, could not be verified by the BMV. So that's either they had a different one or they didn't have it at all.
Yeah, I mean, if all of these are different, including the names? Yeah. If all of these are different, including the names,
I'm just, yeah.
it's like, you know, a
Phenomenal.
whole different person.
What are we arguing about?
Well, they have a code, so it must exist.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is we had about 3,600 people that fell into the status. Of those, I believe only 60 were not in that MMM status.
It fell into this status, what is this status?
Yeah, all this MMM. So the red, yellow,
Of the 3,600, almost all of them were
fell under
MMMs.
MMM. Yeah, you rarely saw any of these other codes.
And when I read
So-
could not be
and-
verified,
And I would think that most of those would be people that just aren't in the BMV records.
I
And
don't know
they're-
what causes the mismatch. The interesting thing is.
Well,
we
I mean,
saw-
how often could there be a discrepancy on all of those items, but the person is in the records?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
not
that's just-
3,500.
We're about to find out what this is. but
96
sometimes
times.
we notice it's like weird spacing in a name.
Oh,
So we can't put spaces, but the BMV can.
yeah, right.
So seems to be a lot of the problems, or a
With
random
with
middle
names,
initials.
right. with names, there'd be a lot of problems.
But we're not sure what triggers the MMM. I don't know if that, because they couldn't find the person because there was a space in their system but not in ours.
But here's what we do know. If it is MMM, then we have to have this MMM remedy. And this MMM remedy says a voter must verify their driver's license number. I don't know what they wrote one down. Is that verification?
Yes.
Good, according to the SOS.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the state ID number, that's the DL. Last 4 digits of their social security number. That's a comma, it's not or. So do they give us the last 4 digits of their social?
I think that's what's missing off of there.
And you have this in your packet.
Yeah.
But you can look at this one. Their social security number and the date of birth. It's interesting, they string this with a comma, last 4 of their social security number and,
They're not using a serial comma.
right, okay, and date of birth. So they gotta have it all. And this person didn't give it to us all.
Correct.
And that's why they're being flagged for not counting disqualifying the provisional. What they did give us was their names, first and last, their DL number.
Kind of run across recently. This is off the BMV. So you could put in certain information and kind of backdoor your way into figuring something out.
Really?
Yeah. So that's how we have the first name spelled, A-U-J-A-U-A. Whereas N-J-A-N-A.
That looks like somebody misread it.
Which it looks like, I could see that second letter being an N or a U, but now that I see it on here, that's
Yeah,
probably
it's
clearly an N.
Right.
Correct. And then the other information you enter is driver's license number. So that was a positive hit. Last 4 of social was a positive hit. Birthday was a positive hit. So maybe in the end, it's the name being spelled differently because.
Which is why they got on the list.
Which is why they got on the list. So here's the different thing, like, here's the different information you enter. So I put in last name. I was able to backdoor figuring out the name being misspelled, so that's why I typed in the first name correctly. I typed in the date of birth, which we have, and then if I type in, like I say, the last 4 of the social that we have on record. See, then you get this page that just popped up, which you were just seeing a second. Make sure the vehicle name, everything. So there's a few different ways you can submit information with either this information or driver's license. I did it both ways, so it might ultimately come down to that name. Now that we have the ID, or we have the driver's license number,
But they're in a
Also
remedy
come
loop
down.
that requires the social security number, which they didn't provide.
Which they did not, yeah, so the ballot's gonna be bad no matter what, but this at least maybe helps us narrow it down a little bit.
Well, what are these 2 signatures? I see this, it's a match, but what's this thing?
I don't know, maybe unless it got clipped twice or something, I'm
Looks
not
like
sure.
we're using 2 versions.
Because that one clearly matches that.
But that looks like the first name twice, or the last name twice.
Yeah, this is the signature. So we- Yeah, and that definitely looks like a U, not an N, but now that we know what the first name is, you could maybe
that-
surmise.
I mean, I see why somebody thought certainly see why somebody thought it was a U,
Yeah,
but it equally could be an N.
exactly.
Well, and what did they put in the provisional? They made it clear in the provisional it's an N. Because there's no guarantee that the BMV got it right, but based on this and the BMV, that is probably not a U.
So, I got a question for Lance.
Bill, I have to leave for a medical thing for my wife, so that's okay?
Yes, all right, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I was following.
And I won't be here for certification.
Well, you won't be here on Friday. Okay,
I'll be out of town.
I'll cover. You know how we are. I appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, guys.
What did you had a question?
So, was it your thought Lance, that this is really just a problem with the name?
At the moment, that's what I'm surmising, because when you type in the birthday that we have in our file, you type in the last four of the social that we have on file, and then you type in the driver's license number from the provisional envelope, in which kind of figure out the spelling of the first name. That's kind of what I'm surmising at the moment.
So that it really wasn't a mismatch except for a letter in the first name that
Which-
could easily have been misread.
Exactly, we put it as a U, but apparently it's an N.
You don't know why it's an MMM from the Secretary of State, because when you go into the BMV record, you're seeing matches for SOCH and driver's license.
Exactly, yeah, the info we get from the Secretary of State saying it's a mismatch does not tell us exactly why.
Sure, I understand.
It just gives us
Well,
that
no,
category.
I mean, it's purporting to tell us why, but.
But you have access to their
it's-
file.
But in this instance, at least, we know they were wrong, right? We know that the social security number and driver's license numbers match, and we can see that, you know, there's an issue with one letter in the first name that was misread by somebody.
But what you had access to, what we were looking at, is the BMV database, or is it the Secretary of State's version of the BMV?
No, that's from the Ohio.
That's from BMV.
Okay.
You'll have to show me how to do that.
And that's a question to ask them to drill down on, because you, as you've said, 3,600, almost all of them were MMMs. So they have these other categories that allows you to do individual mismatches. Feels like there's a little bit of overrepresentation. They're using MMM as a catch-all, which, if it was simply this guy's first name, what's the, if they had simply, you can't explain based on your examination of the data, BMV's database, why the mismatch wasn't simply
Name,
there isn't a category for just
for just
Name.
name, that's why,
Because
yeah.
a mismatch for just name does not.
Is not a mismatch.
Somebody might have said that earlier, now that there is not a name-only spelling error on the name. Names in a bunch of them. It's in the DYNNN, it's in the DYNYNN, it's in the, here's an interesting one, DYYNNN is just the first name. Yeah, anyway, it's in 1, 2,
So,
4 of the 6.
So, all right, here's the situation as I understand it. If I say anything wrong, somebody please correct me. The only real reason why this person was required to vote a provisional ballot was that when we wrote down, we, the Board of Elections, shouldn't say wrote down, but entered the name of the voter, we misread an N as a U in the first name. If it hadn't been for that, this wouldn't be a mismatch. Everything else matches. And it gets reported to us incorrectly as MMM, as if everything mismatches. That's not true, of course. Now, this is diversion. I'm going to speculate that once the name is wrong, there's something wrong with the name. They're looking for somebody with exactly that name, and then they don't match anything, so it turns out to be a mismatch on everything.
Right, I get that. I get how that could happen, how they could devise a system.
Which is a really bad way to do this. And it's going to result in people having to vote provisionally who really shouldn't be voting provisionally. And all the consequences that follow from that. But all that happened here is we made a data entry error, a totally understandable data entry error, but we look at it in retrospect now and we can see, yeah, that's an N. It could easily have been misread, and obviously was misread as a U, but it's an N. And nothing else actually mismatches. This is someone who should not have had to vote provisionally.
Well, I'll throw this into it. We did register them. Their handwriting, which was clearly wrong and misleading, led us to register their name one way, and it essentially turned out to be a misspelling based on their handwriting.
I wouldn't call their handwriting wrong or misleading.
Looked like a U. But
It was
nonetheless,
a letter that could equally have been an N or a U, and
but
we
we
picked
sent them a
the
voter
wrong one.
confirmation card, and that voter confirmation card misspelled their first name, and they didn't do anything about it.
They didn't catch it, yeah.
And so when we sent them a voter confirmation card, they could have seen the misspelling and initiated some level of correction. They didn't catch it. And we then notified them, what's the form that we're under the 3600, the 10, what? 10T?
See,
10C. So we mailed them a 10C that had their name misspelled, and they didn't do anything about it, right? Prior to the election. Everybody was
well,
notified.
and it said they needed to correct, like, everything. Their social security number, their driver's license, their birth date.
And this
They probably
person-
looked at it and thought, what is with these people?
They didn't do that. So their handwriting led us to make a reasonable error, and they didn't catch it in the confirmation, but then the state and the board were nice enough to let them know, again, through this 10C, which, how many
If
people?
this
in the
is
30
being nice, I don't want to hear what nasty is.
how many people just, well, let me ask the question this way. Did people correct their voter registration information that we had as a result of the 10C prior to Election Day?
Yes, they did. Yes.
Very many? More or less than 100?
Oh, probably over 100.
Under 500?
Yeah, under 500.
Out of 3,600.
Correct.
But anyway, they were given a chance and didn't, and here we are. And then even on the provisional, had they just written in their 4-digit social security number, we'd be counting this ballot, right?
And we'd probably still be confused with everything matching as to why, because we probably wouldn't have looked at the first name, but yeah.
But it's the absence of the social security number
That's right.
that makes it.
It wouldn't have fixed the problem. And they'd be back next time.
Never would have looked at the UNN, we would have said everything else matches, but still a problem.
No, it won't be unregistered for the next time.
That's true, right, oh, yeah.
So we're going to disqualify this ballot, and that brings up what Pete said. What are we going to do with the spelling of their name
Well,
in the VR system?
if this ballot is rejected, then their registration is going to be canceled.
Are they notified of their cancellation?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't sent cancellation notices out.
And are they given an application in that notification?
Typically not. We could print this one individually and stuff application in there as well.
Yeah, it's an understandable chain of events, uncharacteristically definitive based on other existing election law, but you answered my question. What we're going to do as a result of denying this ballot is cancel the registration, which seems rather definitive.
Seems quite wrong, actually. This, under the law, a mismatch on name only, which is what this was, does not require a provisional ballot. They should not have been required to vote provisionally. For that reason, I think this ballot must be counted.
I heard the last part of that. But I didn't hear the first part.
This is a person whose the only mismatch between the BMV records and our records is the spelling of the first name, a letter in the first name. The numbers are not mismatches, the numbers are consistent. A person for whom the only mismatch is a name is not supposed to be required to vote provisionally. They're supposed to be allowed to cast a regular ballot. The way the system is operating is not consistent with the law. Because once you find even one letter different in the name, then apparently, in this case it did, everything else gets reported as a mismatch, even though it's not a mismatch. Even though the numbers are there and the numbers match. This person should not have been required to vote provisionally. The system is set up in such a way that they were required. The PEOs did the right thing, but they shouldn't have been in the position where they were essentially told this person should have to vote provisionally. They should have been allowed to vote a regular ballot. For that reason, I think the provisional ballot must count, must be counted.
Yeah, but I hear you're getting there, but we have a directive that gives direction, and then we have also, the only reason you can come to that conclusion is because we were given visual access to a database that is not provided for in the directive. Absent of what Lance showed us, you couldn't come to that.
But what that does is that tells us something about the way the system
I hear you.
is failing.
I hear you.
Failing to carry out the law. And the problem I have is I know that now. And I don't want to act contrary to law here.
Lance has burdened you with information that the directive doesn't provide for, but you find that has veracity.
Yeah, I would say he has supplied me with information. All of us with information. I mean, to me, it's a real it would be a real miscarriage if this person's ballot isn't counted solely because we made an understandable error in transcribing one letter of his first name. Everything else matches. The only thing that's really wrong here is we got one letter of his first name incorrect. Driver's license matches, Social Security number.
Well, I would
matches.
challenge that a little bit. We didn't get it wrong. They wrote it poorly. Two, they didn't notice it in the confirmation mailing that we sent after they registered, that we misspelled their name. And they disregarded the 10C that we sent them as a part of this process.
Well,
So, I mean, they
right.
have 3 strikes at not being in this situation.
Right, but they shouldn't have been in there in the first place. The reason that they got put in that position is that there's a serious flaw in the system that's been developed to implement the law.
Well, the law in
And it's
March of
not true that-
2026 elevated the verification requirements.
Yes, that's true. And if the system were faithfully carrying that out, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But it's not.
Well, it did work because the system picked up a misspelling in the first name.
But that's not supposed to be enough to trigger a requirement that you vote provisionally.
Is that right?
That's right. A mismatch on Social Security number would suffice. A mismatch on driver's license number would suffice. A mismatch on birth date would suffice. But all those things match in this case.
So the chairman's telling us that the first name alone, they got on this MMM list, but if you look, there's the only thing, based on an independent verification of the BMV database. However, we don't have similar access to the Social Security database. So we do see a discrepancy in the first name. That we see. But we don't have independent, what if it's the social security number that doesn't match?
Well, we know that social security number the BMV has matches the one that we have.
How do we know that? Oh. But the Social Security Administration could have a different
Yeah,
Social
but
Security
we have
number.
no indication.
Why don't you dial up the Social Security Administration? No, go into the database.
He's joking.
So at issue, so let's just say we do have access to the Social Security database. We do confirm that they say that that's the same last four digits of the Social Security number. So the only discrepancy we can see using all three databases is the spelling of the first name. Is a misspelling of a first name sufficient to be flagged for voter mismatch under the statute?
No.
I certainly don't see a category where it's first name only.
No, I'm assuring you that that is not a basis for requiring provisional ballot under the statute. And you could see why, too. I mean, the names that people use vary slightly sometimes in ways that numbers that don't should.
Was this voter mailed anything after Election Day?
No, we haven't mailed out anything since Election Day.
So these provisional voters, what opportunity do they have to provide additional information after close of polls?
They have the 4 days afterwards, bring their ID down, they could fill out a 10C in the office, and we would make copies and attach it to that provisional.
On Election Day, when the person voted provisional, were they given any other information?
Just the 12H?
And the 12H told them they have 4 days?
Correct.
Yeah. This,
Yep.
which told them why they were getting it. The provisional ballot used, but is, that they have, what's the hotline for?
Find out whether or not the provisional's been accepted.
I think if you call it, it just tells you to call your local board of elections.
So, but this also tells them that they can come down to the board. That tells them why they're voting provisional, they can come down to the board and where the board is. Acceptable forms, but it's pretty good form. So every person who votes provisional gets the 12H.
Correct.
Well, this is an improvement over what we didn't have 20 years ago. So there's yet another, that's the fourth opportunity the voter had to fix that errant first name mismatch, which would have qualified the ballot to be counted.
Right, I mean, you can blame the voter for
I do.
all those things, including, as you did, for how they wrote their name, how they printed their name. I mean, I just think you're trying way too hard to put this on the voter. We have a system that did something that is incorrect under Ohio law and required this person to vote a provisional ballot. They shouldn't have been required to vote a provisional ballot. For that reason, I think this ballot must be counted.
So I'm willing to.
If they were had been properly required to vote a provisional ballot and had failed to supply all the required information, I would agree that we should not count that ballot, even though that seems very harsh, but I would agree. As long as, they really have authenticated themselves, I think it's harsh, but okay. But it was a miscarriage in the first place that they were required to vote a provisional ballot. It was just the way the system was improperly designed at the Secretary of State's level, not here. And, this is one of two flaws I'm aware of. The second one is that if a person is unknown to be MV, this person was known to be MV, but if a person is unknown to be MV, then everything gets reported as if it's a mismatch when it's actually not a mismatch.
So I'm reading the statute now. When either of the following occur, the Board of Elections shall send the electoral confirmation notice. The board determines that it is unable to verify an elector's residence as to, oh wait, this is, so let me go down to A.
Because if Benzie and I go register at the same time and we both just use our socials, I can get flagged and he cannot. I don't know how it works. And neither does the SOS, because I called to ask that question. So I was concerned, my first concern was all those high school kids. It says one or the other on the registration. Then we started seeing them come from these registration drives, first-time voters or registrants, and they didn't. Some got flagged, some did not. Heck, I've had people that have everything filled out properly come in, fill out the 10C, everything matches, we flip them back in 15 minutes, it flips way back to red. SOS, talk to them, habits.
So,
I'm not sure why things get flagged or some things.
so we have this section 4.09 of the election official manual. Elections official manual. I'm more interested in the statute. They buried this in the provisional voting statute. Where did they put this voter verification, this match in the statute?
I don't remember the section.
Well, I see this section here, but 2(1)A. The Board of Elections receives information from the Secretary of State under Division E of this, of Section 3503151. So it's that. Database maintenance, here we go. Secretary of State. Department of Health, call them up too on your database. Bureau of Motor Vehicles, Department of Jobs and Family Services, get them on the line. Department of Medicaid. This is back office stuff for them. You would like this paragraph 3, the,
This is paragraph 3 of what?
yeah, 35, 3503.151. C.
Database maintenance?
E- Well, this C3, establish safeguards to ensure that eligible electors are not removed in error from the database.
Well, I'd say that one has been not satisfied. Wait, we must be talking about different stat. C3, you said?
If I followed it right, it's
C3 is no person, et cetera, shall sell information or use, or data, or use the information or data for profit. In 151, 3503.151?
before, it's after that. It's the 3 that's after that. I think it's C, does it go to D?
D3?
Is it D?
Yeah,
Yeah,
D3.
D3.
D3, yeah.
What I'm looking for is if the first name, the spelling of the first name is not significant to the identification match statute, then I think a strong argument can be made for counting the ballot. But what they do is they direct the Secretary of State to administer rules. They don't, the statute does not specify, quite frankly, the Secretary of State shall adopt rules under 119 by mutual agreement with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, the content and format. So that's just on data sharing. Should enter into agreements. Shall adopt rules identifying the persons or organizations who may receive the information. Oh, he left. Brian, who has access to the, in this organization, to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles database that we looked at?
That's a public website.
Okay, that's good. That's a,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
comforting.
no.
Well, that, I don't have to worry about it violating any confidentiality standards in the referenced in the statute. Require the boards of elections to maintain that database in a manner that ensures that the name of each registered elector appears in the database, that only individuals who are not registered or eligible to vote are removed. Require the boards of elections to make reasonable effort to remove individuals who are not eligible. Establish safeguards to ensure that eligible electors are not removed. Well, that'll be our defense.
I mean, I think if we reject this ballot, the consequence is that
I
their
agree with that.
registration will be canceled, and that we will have done that wrongly under state law.
Yeah, I agree that that is a harsh remedy, a response. It's not a remedy to anything, it's a harsh response.
I think under the statute you just read, we would have violated the statute if we go.
Like I said, that'll be our defense. So if we approve the ballot, what will we do to the voter's registration? Fix the first name?
Yeah, it would be updated with the proper edits that you.
We already have the DL number that he provided, and Social Security is not an issue because it's not provided. We would just basically correct the spelling of his first name.
Yeah, and add the driver's license to the system after.
Yeah, right.
I thought we already had the driver's
No,
license
we
number
don't.
on our system.
We don't.
Gotcha. Except as otherwise provided in section of this code, Board of Elections shall contact a registered elector pursuant to the rules adopted in section to verify the accuracy of the information in the statewide voter registration database regarding that elector. If that information does not conform, that's not applicable. Well, I would, yeah, I could support a motion to approve this. But I think we also need to drill down with the Secretary of State's and ask for clarification of how they designed the system. Why everybody, almost everybody appears to be defaulting to this MMM status. Now, this is a number that's going to go down. After these 3,600, are they going to keep coming back?
Yeah, we've seen got registration drives, we've seen these things come up quite often.
Well, there'll be new people, sure, going forward, but of our existing 380,000 registered voters, for everybody already in the system as of this point, we shouldn't get that same list of 3,600, or will we?
Well, we'll get a lot of them, I think, because here's what happens.
They don't vote.
No, I mean, when they do vote. Well, or they send it to 10C. We correct the record, right? I mean, we're not necessarily correcting our records, but we put in the information that they give us. And then later, not much later, there's another check, the DMV records, and they get put back in the same confirmation status because well, for reasons that we don't know, but there's something that's doing that. We will get some of the same people, I don't know how many, but we'll get some of the same people back. And it's just going to be a recurring phenomenon for these people, unless maybe they go to BMV and correct some kind of an error in BMV's records.
So we had 3,600 letters for Summit County where there was a data mismatch of any kind, basically, on these categories. That's a very low number, quite frankly. When you're comparing to databases, not just the BMV and Social Security, but Medicare, Medicaid, there was a whole bunch of JFS, a whole bunch of different state agencies.
I'm not sure they're actually doing those.
Well, they may not have interagency agreements, but there's a lot of places. Out of
My impression is it's
386,000
just BMV and SSA at this point.
and Social Security.
SSA, yeah.
So even with just those two agencies, to only get 3,600 letters on a database of 380,000 voters, I would have guessed there'd be more. And if 100 to 200 corrected it off the 10C, and then some more corrected it that are in the already approved, it's a surprisingly small number. It's actually an encouraging, I think you could analyze it to show that the voter registration databases in the state, the Secretary of State will have better numbers because they'll have the statewide list. But out of, 8 million registered voters in Ohio? Whatever the number is, that's,
It's certainly much lower than it might be.
since the threshold of getting on there is
For the
so
people
easy.
that it affects, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And
Well, anyway, I can support a motion, oh, here it is.
so this is line 471. It's been so long.
72.
Sorry, 472. I move that we certify line 472. Let's just get this over with. Any debate on the, I think we've had probably enough debate on the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent. So we are now up to line 473.
Yes. Non-matching signature.
This person's registered.
Yes.
And so this is taken from their registration?
There were no registration documents. That's from a poll book signature. That's the only signature we had on file.
Why? We don't get a clip from the BMV when that happens?
Not the, so in online voter registration, we don't get the signature in our system. We get access to a portal that shows us the signature. How does an online person even sign online?
No, it uses the signature for the BMV.
Okay.
It only works, and you only do it if you have a signature on file with BMV.
And that's the BMV signature?
No, this is the EPB signature, which isn't really relevant here.
Oh. So you've given us this signature.
Why did they have to vote provisionally?
I'd have to look in the system to see if they had moved or. Well, let's see. Not always.
Or was this because they had no signature to match? No signature to match in the EPB, right? They signed the EPB, there's no signature in the EPB to match.
Name change also.
Oh, okay. Name change without documentation at the polls?
Right.
Okay,
So that would have caused, even if they weren't moving, that would have caused, just from the
all
note
right.
up here.
So have they provided the required information for the name change, documentation for the name change?
Well, if they had the documentation, court order, stuff like that, they can fill out a 10L at the location, which makes them eligible to vote
Yeah.
a regular ballot. This is
Right,
the
but they didn't.
fail-safe.
Right.
Yep.
And now I'm trying to remember, do they have to cure?
No.
No, that's right. They don't have to cure. So this should be a valid provisional.
Yes.
There's, the signature doesn't match our records only because our records don't have a signature. And the reason our records don't have a signature is that they registered online and we don't get the signature. They have a signature on file with BMV, that's why they're allowed to register online, but we don't get a copy of that signature for us to match later when somebody comes to vote.
Yeah, this would have probably been the only voter activity.
So when you tell us that the signature doesn't match, somebody looked at this against a computer screen.
No, this, we went to match this signature to our registration records, and we found nothing to match, because we don't have the signature. Right, and this CBP signature, was just, I assume, was it from this election? Do we know?
No, they wouldn't have had any from this election imported yet. No, it would have been, nope.
What was the name change?
Went from, what is it, let's see, Peters, no, from Cress to Peters.
Is that a P or a C? Looks more like a P.
Well, it's more like a P than a C, let's put it that way.
Oh, a K, I mean K, Cress is with a K.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Does that look like a K? That looks a little like,
The Rorschach test.
Exactly, I mean, that could be a K or a P,
Or an R.
or an R, it looks most like an R. So I was only asking that because to try and deduce whether or not this was a signature we had prior to Election Day.
Yes, prior to election.
This is not the Election Day signature, in which case it would be useless.
Right.
In verifying,
Yep,
or trying to
Yeah,
match
but
the signature.
But what we're supposed to be matching is their signature in the registration records, and we're simply unable to do that because we don't have one.
Well, there's a process for us to, well, yeah, there's a process for that, but if this is an online voter registration, which happens, you're saying that the BMV signature doesn't get imported into our system?
I mean, that's a problem.
Well, what do we put in the poll books when they go out to the polls?
I don't know if that was a blank one or not. A blank signature line or.
Well, let's just,
I'll bet it was blank.
so if it's blank, let's, setting aside the name change on this person, if it's blank, they have their photo ID. I guess there's a signature on the driver's license, but we have no signature on file for which to match.
Here's the thing. They presented a photo ID. We don't really have a question about whether this is the right person. The matching the signature is really kind of a carryover from back when
We didn't have a photo ID to
photo
present.
ID.
But the rules have to catch up, but we still have to implement the rules.
Right, but the way I would treat this is, this signature doesn't mismatch what we have on record. We just don't have anything on record. And the way the system is set up, we don't, if they registered online, and they're certainly allowed to, though there is a signature, it's in the BMV records, we don't have it. There's nothing for us to compare it to. And in the absence of any real question about whether this is the same person, I think we need to count.
We are still required to match the signature on Election Day. Correct? So
But in
how
this-
can we take an online voter registration
In this
and
case-
not equip our PEOs with a digitized signature?
Would-
You want to take this?
I can't.
Let me read it.
Yeah.
This is more of an abstract question. How can we send online voter registration registrants to the polls on Election Day with nothing on file as a signature and ask them to match that signature requirement?
That's why I wondered whether that was the reason why this was a provisional ballot. It turns out it wasn't.
And you want to skip this one or
Yeah, why don't we
come back to it?
come back to it? Where were we?
474.
yeah. Do you want us to skip to that?
Yeah.
All right, so lines 474 to 476 voter already voted. Two of those where the voter returned an absentee that's going to be counted, or has been counted. And then one was a person who voted 2 provisional ballots. So,
Same location?
no, actually, the first one was at a nursing home, and then the patient came down here several days later and voted a provisional here.
I think they prefer resident.
Pardon me?
They prefer to be referred to as residents, not patients. But
Okay.
I'm following you. Well, on the first one, that's a unique that person,
First 2? There were,
not the nursing home voter, but the other one,
2.
other 2, 74 and 75, they voted absentee.
Yeah,
Yes.
these are just standard, they voted absentee, they came to the polls, they voted provisionally. We don't count the provisional ballot, we counted the absentee ballot. The interesting one is the third one.
And that person voted an absentee at a nursing home.
No, vote
Well, which, are we back to the one who voted
476.
2 provisionals?
476.
We think it's 476, if you gave them the order.
Yeah, actually, we don't know.
It should be 476. I don't have that other list with me, but yeah.
The nursing
So
home
this is the one where the voter voted at a nursing home, a provisional, and then came into the board and voted a provisional.
Prior to election day, during the absentee window,
During
28 days.
early voting, yeah.
Early
Right.
voting, yeah.
So, did we, why did they have to vote provisionally in the first place?
The first time would have been at a nursing home, probably they either had a bad application and couldn't get a regular absentee ballot, or the staff showed up and this person said, I want to vote.
Wait, let me catch up. Did this nursing home voter vote at the nursing home provisionally
Yes,
as well? And then they came in here and voted provisionally again.
yes,
So 474, 75, and 76, 2 of those ballots are for the same person?
yes. No. Only one of those was separated out. We found no rule or guidance in the statutes or in the manual that says a voter can't vote 2 provisionals. It has a category for voter already voted as a catch-all with absentee.
Did the other provisional already count?
It is in the, yes, the.
It's in the first 465. So one of this nursing home voter, one of their provisionals was already approved in the 460, in the first 465.
Yes.
All right.
And then now you have the second one.
Yes.
Okay, so
we're
this
making
this is
only
similar
one
to
count.
somebody who voted absentee and then
Right.
showed up on election day and voted provisional ballot. So is there a motion to reject lines 474 through 476?
So moved.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
And we don't need a hearing on these.
No, I don't think so.
It does have a signature.
Oh, there is a signature.
Yeah, it just doesn't go to where they're used to looking at it. It's up here. And then that's the online portal. So that carried over and just puts it up here instead of where they're used to
Okay,
looking at it.
that's
So you do
reassuring.
get it. And then is the, was that not a match?
I don't know. I don't know what the provisional look like.
Where to go?
It went back.
Well, let's not do it on memory, but
Yes.
So that's a K.
yeah, I would say. I'd say that's match.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
The,
He's doing this. There's a clip, same clip.
But it is a relief to know that the signature does transfer over, right? It would be phenomenal if that didn't occur. So I'll make a motion to reject 473.
Oh, wait. Why are we rejecting?
No signature match. The provisional signature has to match what we have on file. If this gets rejected for no signature match, what will we do with this last name that's been updated?
If it's a non-matching signature,
Oh,
we
wait a
will
minute.
check the
Wait a minute.
process.
So the signature,
Pardon?
the signature that's on file is with her old name,
It's a name change, but,
and she's updated her.
no, but that's not the
The
point.
question before us is, does her first name match what we have on file? Because you can't match a name that's
Right.
different.
Right.
Do you
and-
think
and-
Yolanda?
Yeah, that's that's the
I
same,
thought-
that's the same F.
I thought you were being a little harsh, but I was willing to go along.
No, I think you misunderstood me. I think, that's a match.
Right. And now her last name will be updated.
Right,
If
right.
we didn't, if we rejected this, we wouldn't update her last name and she'd be in this soup all over again next time.
Right. That's right.
And at some point, she's got to get to this last name Peters, and this will make it happen.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, she filled out the 10L.
Yeah, I would vote to make that a signature match.
Okay, so.
I'll withdraw my
the-
motion and move to approve 473.
Okay, the motion is to certify line 473. All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
Yeah, 473 is approved.
Okay, so lines 477 to 486, voter failed to provide ID. We are following the same rules that were adopted by the board in public meetings of the past, where you've got some combinations where, say, the voter checked the box saying that they showed ID in field 5, but the ID went down to field 6, and so all those rules have been complied with. So these are true no IDs or expired IDs.
Okay, is there a motion to reject lines 477 through 486?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is adopted without dissent.
Lines 487 to 489, no signature on the envelope.
Is there a motion to reject 487 through 489?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent.
Lines 490 to 493, right location, wrong precinct. They'll need to be remade.
Yeah. Somebody didn't scan the barcode into the EPB. Did these occur in the same all occur in the same location or different locations?
No, various locations.
All right, so no two were in the same location?
Well, 2 of them were.
2 of them were, okay.
And the PEOs at that location have already been interrogated, let's put it that way.
Okay. So the motion needs to be to remake the provisional ballots for 490 and through 493.
So moved.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
lines 494 to 566. These voters are not registered anywhere in Ohio.
A motion to reject 494 through 566.
Second?
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent.
Last, lines 567 to 572, entirely wrong location.
All right, you know what my question is? Were these all from the same location? Were any?
Oh, no, these were various locations. They were all different locations except for two.
The two are the same?
Yes.
Which location?
Christ Woodland.
I would ask the deputy director to follow up on those, especially Christ Woodland, what they had two.
Were the two voters at Chris Woodland related or married?
I believe they were husband,
Oh.
well, related.
Same last name.
Yeah, same last name.
Still, it's, and I guess I would also look at whether any of them, were at 7:20 in the evening, but if they weren't, still, the chances are very, well, somebody should be checking the memo sheet, right? If there isn't something that explains it on the memo sheet that says, this person refused to go and insisted on voting here, or, 7:25 and they really couldn't have gotten to another location, that means that the PEO has made a mistake, and that needs to be addressed. Is there a motion to reject lines 567 through 572?
So moved. Or second? You choose, Danny.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion is adopted without dissent. Thank you. That was a lot. Next item is other business. Is there other business to come before the board?
Yeah, we got two items. One we'll have Brian discuss first.
All right, if you open your binders up to tab 5. The very first sheet you'll see is a screenshot of Evis. It has their birth date and their registration date, both birth date being in 06, registration date being in 2024, which would make her 18 at the time. The document behind that is the original registration card. But on May 12th and May 14th, we received 2 voter registration cards. Those are behind that. Both of them state that the birth year is 2008, which would mean in 2024 they would have been 16 when they registered.
So, where's the date on this? May 14th. May 12th, 2026. And the screenshot indicates the registration date as October of '24, 2 years before, well, year and a half before.
Yep, and then the 2 newest registration cards that she received, the social is different than the original, but the month and day all match on all 3 registration cards. It's just the year that's different. I would note all 3 of them came from registration drives.
All 3. So I've got 2 registration cards here. But you're saying that the card that resulted in this.
Yeah, you're missing this.
Oh, no, they were stuck together, sorry. All right, now I got it. So the first one, the oldest one, the address is Kelly Avenue.
Yep, and it stays that way on the one we received on the 12th. And 2 days later, the address changes.
Right. Oh, wait a minute, which is, we get them in the right order here. The 12th, the 14th, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm going by the timestamp, not the date signed.
Yeah. Okay.
Set it for hearing.
So, yeah, this is the first registration card. I put the date as 06, Kelly Avenue. The second registration card, same address, the birth date is 08.
It looks like there's a 6 underneath it.
That's right.
So a little state of confusion. That's why I think we need to just set it for a hearing and have her bring a birth certificate.
And then 2 days later, we got this one, which has 08 on it.
And we've never been given a driver's license number. Oh, it's a Soch.
The socials are inconsistent between the original registration card and the 2 more recent ones.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Let me
I just think we need to set it for a hearing and get the voter in here and ask her to bring her,
wait a minute,
birth
27,
certificate.
oh, no, yeah, 27.
That would be nice too. Did this person show up on the mismatched list?
Yeah, they, if you look at the top one, she's in that number 4 MMM status.
And she didn't, but this person did vote.
She's never voted before. We just found this as they were pre-screening these registration drives that keep coming in. Barb ended up noticing that in 1 year she put 06 and she was 18 at the time, and then realized, oh, it's 2008, which would have made her 16 at the original. So even if I wanted to change this birth year, I'm going to get an error message across the screen because the registration date is in 2024. And I can't just change the registration date either.
Yeah, I think we need to set it for a hearing and get more information from the voter. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
If we had the voter, we could ask these questions.
That's why we wanted to bring it to your attention.
Well, I suppose
We've got,
if the staff contacted the voter and got proof of their birth date and it was 06, we could just treat the second 2 registration cards as.
If you got a birth certificate that showed 06, I think that would negate the need for,
Or a driver's license.
Or a driver's license now, if she has one.
Or theoretically a passport, but probably not. So, in other words, good documentation of her birth date. Why don't we just get that, ask her for that? If we get it and it's 06, I think,
We can update the voter registration and move forward. If she can't provide it, we'll have a hearing and cancel it.
right, or if she does provide it and it's 08.
All right. We could subpoena the documents, that if she fails to then set up a hearing.
Well, I think at that point, we just go for a hearing, but,
Yeah, I don't think, did you suggest that we should subpoena the documents preliminarily?
I think he was,
If she failed
you're
to,
right, he was suggesting a three-step
Three-step instead of
process.
two-step.
First just ask, second subpoena, third hearing. I would skip the second one and just, if she doesn't provide it voluntarily, then let's schedule the
Call the
hearing,
sheriff.
get it over with.
Set it for hearing.
Okay?
All right.
All right, then I've got one other item. It's not in your binder, but just more seeking clarity, and part of this is my fault not asking sooner, but with the election a couple weeks ago, it's come up again. So after November's election, the Village of Boston Heights completed a payment voucher, since it's a public building, and they indicated that they had an employee work a total of 3 hours for either for both Monday night meeting and election day, opening doors, whatever the case may be. And they provided us a bill on this payment voucher for $171 to pay. And then at the bottom, and there's also an attachment, they also asked that we pay master maids for like a cleaning fee. So 2 different invoices is what they're trying to send us. One for their actual staff member to open and maybe move some things around, and then another for a cleaning. And so we did not pay the cleaning, we just paid the custodial fee of the $171 for their employee. And then after the election a couple weeks ago, we get another one from Village of Boston Heights. As of now, they have not completed the payment voucher for a staff member. They have only completed the payment voucher asking us to pay this master maid's cleaning fee. So I would just like clarity from the board on, are we paying only their employee? Are we just paying one, whether it's the employee or the cleaning? Do you want us to pay both? I just want to get some clarity so that at least this particular location is submitting paperwork for potentially both. At least in November, they submitted it for both. Right now, it's kind of an unknown for May, but they've at least submitted it for the cleaning company.
So when did they submit it for November?
November, they must have submitted it fairly quickly because I have my approved to pay down here for stamped November 17th.
So
that would've been,
do we pay both?
we paid the employee only. So
Employee.
on the payment voucher, they had the employee, so we paid the employee, and then Master Maids, the cleaning company, was a separate one. I held it on my desk and forgot about it until this came in a week ago for the May election, and then that triggered my memory of, I need to get clarity on this.
Okay.
So when we did not pay them in November of 2025 for their submitted cleaning bill, we did not communicate to them and no, we just didn't pay it.
Yeah, I know there's there must have been some sort of communication because in January, Tammy from Village of Boston Heights reached out to Melissa. I'm not sure, I don't remember at least what their conversation was, but there was at least a conversation.
They were looking for payment.
Exactly.
We presumably told them, but we didn't give them anything in writing.
Yes.
But, we don't pay cleaning bills. I mean, if we have paid, if we've damaged something, and it was us, I think one time we damaged their carpeting, and we paid for a carpet cleaner.
Uh-huh.
You were here.
Yeah.
A few years back, and that was because it was our people, not the public. So we paid for, but other than that, normal wear and tear. I mean, that's why they have public buildings. That's why they let us use them, because the taxpayer provided building, cost of doing business for them.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they might stop letting us use it, but,
They can't.
oh, they can't.
Under the statute,
Yeah,
every
public
government
building.
building has to be free. They're allowed, there's a statutory provision for custodial fees. And had they submitted this
So
as a custodial fee, we wouldn't do anything to verify.
So, in other words, if they use their own employee, they could charge us for that time?
Correct, yeah, so
but-
we send a payment voucher and I can just bring this down to you.
So the issue is that they outsource the
So
the
this,
custodial activities.
this is from November. So they put their employee, they even list the name, how many hours the person worked on both Monday and election day.
Right.
So that's the part we paid, and then you see they do this down here. So that's where we paid this, but not this
Right.
one. And then this time, all they've sent us is an email for just this. They have not listed anything for an employee.
The custodial fee is not for cleaning, it's for opening the building early and closing it late, because most of these government employees are in schools and they collective bargaining agreements and they get paid overtime, so they're allowed to bill us for it under the statute. It's not custodial fees for purposes of cleaning the room, although there was a time when they very often, I don't know, I was curious to ask, we would pay the custodial fee for setup. They would keep the voting stalls at their school or building, and then they would set it up, and we, like 2 or 3 days before, we would pay, they would give us an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, and they would pay that. Do we pay anybody for setup anymore?
I mean, like Akron Public Schools will lump all of their voucher
To
together.
restore any voting stalls at the Akron Public Schools?
No, we only store
Yeah, because we got out of that business because now that we have these voting stalls that have lights, that have to be serviced, we brought them all in. And so somewhere around 2004 or 6, we got out of the business of paying them to set up voting stalls. But custodial fee is not for cleaning. But I want to say, since we're off the record, that if somebody submitted custodial fee and it was really for cleaning,
We would never know.
we wouldn't know. We don't
Well,
know.
unless it was too many hours to have been
Right.
anything else, yeah.
That's right. But,
Would you hand that?
so are you asking us for permission to tell this subdivision that we do not pay cleaning fees?
Yeah, not necessarily your permission, but just so that we're all on the same page that, yeah, well, if you submit a voucher for your employee, that's one thing, but, you start paying for the cleaning for one place, I'm sure every other location,
So-
the county's gonna say pay for ours too.
So really, our message is we will pay to have your employees open and close, but that's it. Right?
Well, I would read the statute, and use the language of the statute about,
That's a good idea.
because it's provided in the statute.
Yeah, it's the same statute that governs use of the facilities, and it is specific to custodial fees. It doesn't expand beyond that, but
So, and it doesn't, does it define custodial?
no.
It doesn't define
I
the
printed it
work
off
of
this
the
morning to
custodian.
have it, because I knew that was gonna come up as a question.
Janitorial service. A reasonable fee may be paid, doesn't say must, may be paid for janitorial service. I'm just reading what you highlighted.
It's not a path, we're not budgeted to go down the janitorial service if you mean it for cleaning
Yeah,
purposes.
so, so this means we could pay for janitorial service. It doesn't mean we have to pay for janitorial
Right,
service.
and if we were ever going to consider that, we need to do it for everybody.
Yeah.
And we have to have a budgeted amount for
Right,
that.
that's right.
And,
Yeah, because I think the only time we did anything similar to that was during COVID, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
we gave a
Board
cleaning
approved,
fee.
I think, $200 per polling location or something along those lines, and
Right,
it was
I
kind of a thank you for helping us get through the COVID era, and, yeah.
And just a question for reference. Are these fees that we charge back anyway?
If I remember correctly, we do for, our voucher payments, yes.
custodial fees are chargeable in municipal elections, in the area where but yes, we would recover them. I'm not saying paying, and that's the other thing is, if we're going to do something like this, I would make it a blanket. If we're going to provide cleaning services for people who request it, I would have a cap. You know, and at blanket, we have to have some sort of qualification, but yes, under some circumstances, it would be a chargebackable expense. Which is kind of funny because they'd be paying it anyway. Their property tax distribution would go down by that cleaning company's amount. That might be something that you verbally tell them, that if we paid it, we're just gonna charge it back to you anyway, and in most elections, you're gonna end up paying it that way.
So I think your guidance is not to pay the cleaning fee.
If they call us. Refer back to you. What's this for?
Oh, that was part of the provisionals. You can study it in your spare time. So any other business to come before the board?
That was all I had.
Not aware of any personnel items. Approval of remakes.
Got a couple, right? You guys have a couple, and they're going to have a couple. Yeah.
All right, we've got two sets here. We have one set that is 17-year-olds that voted at the polls and voted for some things they shouldn't have, such as state central committee and/or issues. So I'll hand those ones off first.
Are there any questions of voter intent?
There was not.
It's all yours.
Chairman, I'll move that we approve remakes POR 1 through POR 11 as PR 1 through PR 11.
So, any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is adopted without dissent.
These ones are, you can have the emails that were typed.
Any questions of voter intent? Man, is that loud.
So on these, I will make a motion to approve remakes UC OR 2036 through 2041 as UCR 2036 through UCR 2041.
Is there a second? Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is adopted without dissent. That it for remakes?
Yeah. We'll have
Yeah.
a few provisional remakes still.
We have ballot adjudication on the agenda, but I don't think we have.
But there is none. Yep.
Thank you for catching why I asked that question.
Yeah, it took me a second. My first impulse was, why bother? Then the second one was, well, you're just gonna get charged anyway. So why bother?
Yeah.
In municipal election,
Yeah,
but not this year.
not this one. But
Okay, going from Akron 1A, Democratic, to Akron 1C,
a remake.
These are the right church.
Gotcha.
Any questions of voter intent?
Is there you got them separate?
Yes.
Make a motion to approve PROR 4000 as PRR 4000.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
Okay. This is the original.
I'll make a motion here to approve remake PROR 4001 as PRR 4001.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
Move to approve remake PROR 4002 as PRR 4002.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
And on this one, I will make a motion to approve PROR 4003 as PRR 4003.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
So this is the original, this is the remake, this is the 17-year-old original. No issues on
So we're going to remake it. This was a provisional that we approved
to be remade.
to be remade, and we're going to submit it as a blank ballot in
Right,
order to
but they'll get credit for
make the
voting.
I get, well, to make, and it also,
The numbers,
balancing.
yeah, right.
I'll move to approve PROR 4004 as PRR 4004.
Any debate on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion is adopted without dissent.
That's it, thank you.
Okay. I do believe we have reached the end of the agenda. Is there any objection to, is there any objection to adjournment? Hearing none, I declare the meeting adjourned.